Hey everybody, while resoling this pair of Grant stones, I took a little time to do some tips on how to operate your stitcher in preparing stitch length and different various things that you need to make sure that you get a quality recraft every time, and I hope you enjoy it. Stick along. One of the questions that a lot of cobblers have is, how do I stitch into the original holes, and how do I make sure that I get my stitch length right? So we're going to cover how to do your machine, and hopefully we're going to be successful at it. It's a guessing game, but you can become more and more educated about how you go about guessing it. So we want to match up these holes and hit every one as we're going around, so we have to be a certain length distance from here to here on our machine, and then we also have to have the stitch length. This thing right here adjusts your stitch length, so this is all the way out. That's the longest stitch this machine will stitch. As you go back, each stitch will get shorter and shorter because that's what allows the travel of the awl. The awl comes up, see how the awl is way over here in the middle, and then it's going to come up and it's going to advance the shoe that far. Okay, now if I roll the awl back down and I pull this lever all the way to the full length, look where the awl comes up. It comes up way over here. So see, the last one it was way over here, now it's coming out here, so now your travel is a lot further, so you get a lot longer length stitch. Watch how the awl moves, and you'll hear me clicking each click. See, as I make an adjustment on that adjuster, that awl moves over and it shortens the length of the stitch. So that thing will be working like that. If you pull it all the way out, it'll be working like that. You know, it'll be moving a lot further and giving you a longer stitch. So that's how you adjust your stitch length. And now you've got to adjust your depth. So the awl comes up here, and this table right here is adjustable. So you want it a certain distance from the awl so that it will punch through that original hole and you won't miss all the holes and stitch right beside of them. Okay, so the way you do that is, this nut gets kind of tight, so I bump it with something non-metallic so I don't break it. But you break that loose, and then see, that allows you to, when you slide that back, it allows you to change the distance of this right here from the awl. And then once you get it where you want it, you hold it in place and you lock that baby down. First thing I want to do is I come up through the heel area where nobody will see it, and I set my presser foot down, and I set my machine where I've got it right now. I tighten that down so it's exactly where I want it in case I got it right. I roll it back through, and that punched a hole in the sole, and look where it punched the awl hole. I want to double check it. I set it there, roll it through, I check it right there, and again I'm in the same hole, so I should be good there. So now the reason I double check this is we're going to go set the channel. I'm going to cut a channel here. The machine has a channel knife that will cut you a channel all the way around, but I don't want it to cut here and here because it's best if you wet the sole, this particular sole, before you stitch it, or otherwise it can be jagged. So I don't want to wet that because I want to be able to bond quickly. I've got this set, I've got it locked in. Now I've got to set my stitch length. The way I set my stitch length is I want to get the original piece of leather where it's there, and I put it on there, and I try to line it up with where the holes will be, and I come through, advance, run my stitch, and then boom, I check it. Okay, now is that the right length? I didn't get dead center, but you can see I'm halfway between these two stitches, and that one's closer to that stitch. So I need to shorten my stitch just a little bit. We'll shorten it a couple bumps. Let me get it right there. Okay, and we'll try again. Alright, give that one a couple of go arounds. I only gave the other one go around because I knew it was too long. Alright, so see, I came out right by it, came out right by it, and came out right by it. So that's pretty much dead on it right there. I think that's going to be my stitch length. So we're going to give that a go. Now, let's go cut the channels and then come back and stitch these. Alright, so if you notice, I did these two different ways. I channeled just the waist area because that's what's going to be seen after I get through with my sole protectors, and on this one I channeled it all the way around. The reason I did that is for your benefit. It's not going to matter to the structure of my boot, but I did it for your benefit. I wanted you to see the difference between a couple of things. So I did this because that's going to be exposed. The rest of it won't be seen and it'll structurally be fine. So this one is going to be done with the channel knife completely up, no channel knife involved. And this one is going to be with the channel knife down, cutting the channel as it goes around, so it won't really matter if it jags up the leather just a little bit, plus it's less likely to because I've already roughed that surface up. So you can see how it'll cut the channel as it goes. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this boot completely dry and see how it does, and then on the other one, if this one does fine, I'll stitch the other one dry, but if it doesn't, then the other one I will wet the welts and show you how that works. Now you see, as the stitch went around, because I had set the depth before I cut my channel, I went and cut my channel based on the depth, and my stitches fell in my channel really well. Right here you can see it didn't hit it. I kind of dropped the boot just a little bit, but look at here on the top side, I nailed all the holes. Except for right there, there's a few holes, and that's where the other person had stitched a little. You can see the distance from the split welt part to the center. It's a lot closer right there, so the original stitcher missed that, and that's a risk that you run when you do a reuse in an original welt. And some of my customers, there's another spot right there where it missed. Some are like, yeah, I couldn't stand that, man, my OCD kick in, I wouldn't be able to take it. So that's one way, and you can look real close. I want you to get a good visual of how the stitch looks. Does that look nice and clean and smooth like the other pictures you see of our posted work, or does that, where we've done new welts? To me, that looks very jagged and rugged and kind of sawtoothy. So that's the risk you run with using an original welt and a contrasting stitch. Now, if this was a black shoe with a black stitch, or a brown shoe with a brown stitch, you'd never notice that. So now we're going to try one other method, which is to wet the welt. This is just water. It's not what the label says on the bottle. It's just an old bottle. I'll put water in it. Now I'm going to take my heel lift. While that welt is wet, I'm going to put a little pressure, try to smooth down some of these bumps. And by the way, I evidently nailed the length of the stitch, or otherwise you would have seen that shoe jumping all over the place and me fighting it while I was stitching around it a while ago. Because when it's dry, it'll really fight you. Wet, it'll just make everything look bad, but it won't fight you so much. So that softens that leather up, and I've made the bumps not stick up quite so bad. So let's see how this comes out. I need to set my channel knife down so I get a cut. Now, one thing you need to know when you're setting your channel knife, you don't want to go too deep, and you don't want to be too shallow. So every machine is a little different in what it appears, but you learn your machine, play with some scrap leathers. But the main reason that you don't want to go too deep is it creates a lot of drag and it will shorten your stitch. So you'll have to adjust this length to match the amount of drag, and boy, that's really harder to calculate. The only holes that are showing that were original was those ones where I showed you where the person stitching it the first time had dipped in. Those are right there. But my depth from the side to the interior was correct. And the stitch is not quite as zigzaggy and sawtooth looky. So you know the wet stitch can help, or the wet welt can help deal with that. But I definitely got some resistance and was having the machine wanting to stitch a little shorter, so I was having to help feed it a little bit, and got a little skip stitch right there, and I wasn't feeding it there yet. That was just where the machine just all of a sudden let loose of its drag that comes from the wet welt. So you know, there's downsides to everything. So if you do new welts, you don't have to worry about anything, because you can stitch on the new welt without wetting it or running it dry and getting either of those things. I probably won't wear these the way they are. I'm going to go ahead and finish them out for the video, but then I'm probably going to, 99.9%, I'm going to take these apart and do new welts, because that kind of thing bothers me and I wouldn't be able to wear it myself. Some people, your OCD level is different than mine, and you'd be okay with that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure and hit the like button. Give us a comment. Let us know what you enjoyed about it. Also, let us know some videos similar to this that you would like for me to share, tips of the trade and things like that, so that you can learn and expand your trade, or as a consumer, just want to enjoy learning. Have a great night is what I always want to say.